San Diego-based Ballast is a brewery we've spent a lot of time talking about here in the second draft. We recently reviewed their flagship IPA, the Sculpin, on our website, and we often bring them up and drink them while we're doing our NFL picks or our movie or game reviews. It's a brewery we love, and despite some questionable decision-making back in 2015, depending on your point of view, they're a brewery that consistently gets things right. So what happened in 2015 was, of course, the buyout by Constellation Brands, the same company that owns Modelo and Corona and whatnot. Here at the second draft, we believe that craft brewing is an art form and should always be independent, but in some cases it's really hard to turn down $1 billion and the ability to more or less continue brewing independently the way you want to. And despite that acquisition, Ballast Point has held true to that value, and they've put forth such delicious beers as the Victory at Sea, the aforementioned IPA, Sculpin, and many other beers. And another silver lining of the Constellation acquisition is the fact that Ballast has been given the opportunity to collaborate with High West, a distillery based out of Park City, Utah. Now that the two companies are both under the Constellation umbrella, it's opened the doors for them to kind of mix and match and share ideas. So what they've done is they've taken Ballast Point's very popular Victory at Sea coffee and vanilla porter, and they've introduced it to bourbon and rye barrels. So you see, kids, when a brewery and a distillery like each other very much, they get together and the brewery puts its beer inside the distillery's barrels. And no, actually, these two companies are owned by the same parent, so this is actually kind of incestuous. This is not going in the video. We've got a bottle here today. I'm going to pop this open. We're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a taste at it and see what it's all about. Going to give this a nice healthy pour. By the way, you can't talk about this beer without showing the absolutely killer bottle artwork. Very cool skeleton pirate at the wheel of a ship trying to sail through a raging storm. Hopefully this beer will be easier to navigate than the storm on the bottle. So right off the bat, you can see that the beer's got about a finger of very billowy, very delicious looking peat-colored head. The body of the beer itself is completely opaque, very, very dark. Not as dark or heavy as maybe a stout, but definitely dark. This is obviously a coffee porter with some body to it. And right in that bouquet, that first sniff, you can definitely pick up those notes of the bourbon and rye. It's got sort of a dry alcoholic flavor to it with a little bit of a spice to it. I would say maybe like almonds. Maybe that's also the coffee and the chocolate flavors at play. So I'm going to dive right in. Cheers. Ooh, that's got some kick to it. Very deep, rich, chocolatey, coffee, vanilla flavors right off the bat. Also a bit of a warmer, given the fact that it's been aged in barrels of rye and bourbon. We're out of the cold winter season at this point, but I do believe this beer originally came out in the winter, and it's absolutely a stellar warmer. It's got some body to it. It's a bit heavy. That coupled with the fact that it's very high in ABV, I believe it's actually like 12.5 ABV or something, which is super high for traditional beers, not super high for bourbon aged beers. But even so, this is not something I would necessarily pair with food. You're not going to be pounding these things. Honestly, I think this would be like the ideal beer for going out with a bunch of friends or staying in at home, cracking these open on a cold winter's night, or maybe a brisk spring day, watch a movie, play some video games, slowly sip these, let them warm you up a little bit, let them do their magic. There's really no bitterness to speak of, unless you count the coffee flavors, which personally I don't. I like a good cup of coffee. The alcohol is definitely prevalent in the flavor of the beer, but it's not overpowering. Yeah. So yeah, I'm already actually starting to feel that 12.5 ABV. Been sipping on this for a while for this review. I think I'm about halfway through the glass, and I'm feeling pretty good, actually. You're probably going to find this for about 15 to 20 bucks for a 4-pack at your liquor store, and that may seem high, but given the high alcohol content, that's actually a pretty reasonable price. You typically wouldn't see beers of this caliber with this high of ABV anything less than 15 bucks. So don't be put off, because you absolutely are getting value for your dollars here with this beer. 1 beer is going to get you a little bit buzzed. 2 beers, you're going to be feeling really good. And if you're brave enough or crazy enough to finish the 4-pack, you're probably going to be rolling. That's probably the equivalent of like drinking a bottle and a half of wine. So thank you to Ballast and High West for putting their heads together and making this delicious beer. I'm blown away by it, consistently blown away by everything these two companies do. I hope this collaboration doesn't end here. I hope these two companies get together often and hope they've got a lot of really cool things to show us in the future. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your time. Appreciate you guys having a beer with me. And have a good one.